Hi, and welcome to another episode of Mr. Puzzle. Today we will talk about the Revomaze Blue. It comes in this nice package here. I really like it. And if we open it up, it's presented in a very nice way to us. Also the box is high quality, closed by magnets. Well done. And the puzzle itself is even higher quality. It's made completely out of metal. The sleeve here is made out of aluminium and the inner core piece here is made out of metal. And the target of this puzzle is to remove this inner core from this aluminium sleeve. This one is the blue version, which is the beginner version. Even if it's the beginner version, it said you need about 5 hours to solve it. For me, it took about 3 to 4 hours to solve it. And I would like to discuss and show you today my approach, how I solved it. My difficulty rating for this puzzle is a 4 out of a maximum of 5. And all we know at this point is, according to the name, there's obviously a maze inside of this, since it's called Revomaze, Revolution and Maze. And we need to find a way to somehow open it up. I will demonstrate you now how to use some simple analytical skills to understand what's inside of this black box. And this is actually something I really like on puzzling, because working through these puzzles and finding the solutions in a logical manner. From my point of view, there are only two things that makes learning most effective, which is doing something by yourself and also having fun while you do it. And this is exactly what I'm doing here. If you are like me, who is interested to improve his analytical and critical thinking skills, check out brilliant.org, who sponsored today's episode. Brilliant.org is a problem-solving website that teaches you how to think like a mathematician or a scientist. They offer you a huge amount of courses in the field of math, science, and computer science. You can just dive in and solve easy to challenging problems. For example, you can learn to understand group theory and how it applies to a Rubik's Cube. You can check out solutions for each lesson and also discuss them with the community. So unlike listening and copying, like in a boring school lesson, Brilliant provides you a very efficient way of learning through active engaging with problems to train your analytical and critical thinking skills. To support Mr. Puzzle and learn more about Brilliant, go to brilliant.org/MrPuzzle and sign up for free. And also, the first 200 people that go to that link will get a 20% off the annual premium subscription. Always keep in mind, investing time and effort in learning something is investing in yourself. Therefore, there are only advantages in getting smarter, right? So, now let's continue with the Revomaze. To understand what we can actually do with the puzzle, we need to look a little bit more in detail. As I already mentioned in the beginning, we have an aluminium sleeve and a metal shaft inside. And we somehow need to get this metal shaft out of this sleeve. There's another piece inside of the shaft, which has actually, but this one has actually nothing to do with solving the puzzle. You will understand later what this is for. Okay, if we look in detail on the puzzle, we see that there is a little mark here on the sleeve, just on one side of the puzzle, so over here. And also when we twist this metal shaft, we will feel at one point some kind of resistance. And when you pass this point, you can, the resistance disappears. So, and there is also appearing some strange noise. I will just demonstrate it to you. Every time I pass this area, I hear this clack noise. And right in this area, when I push here from the top, I will be able to enter the maze. Like this. Now I entered the maze. And I can try to continue. And actually it does not sound too difficult to navigate through a maze, but this one is special because I will just demonstrate it to you. For example, when I'm here and I make a wrong move, you hear this noise and now I'm trapped. I'm in a trap. I can nearly pull it out, but in fact, I'm in a trap here and I can only go back to the beginning. This happens in several areas of this puzzle, and this makes it much more difficult than a regular standard maze. For example, this one was the trap was somewhere located here. When I go in again and I pass this point, there's another one up here. So now I'm trapped again. I can move nowhere but back to the beginning. This makes this puzzle very unique and very nice. My approach to solve it, I will show you after the spoiler break. Okay, here we go. So at first, let's analyze again what movements we can do. We have the steel shaft, and the steel shaft can move in this direction. Also, it can rotate around its center. So we have two movements that the shaft can do. Before we can define a maze, to avoid that we have interference between our different paths that go through the maze, we need to define some kind of a scale, and this is what I'm gonna do now. For the direction, for the shifting direction here, it's kind of easy because we just can, for example, I take a caliper, we measure here the length, and I know that this is now 8 millimeters. So the shaft moved 8 millimeters from the reference point, which was the starting point here, 8 millimeters out. So we consider these 8 millimeters to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 steps in this direction. But the one that's more difficult is the one that is actually the rotational movement here, rotationary movement of the steel shaft. How do we set a scale for this? Well, we do it the following way. We measure the diameter of the shaft, and this is 24 millimeters. So the diameter of the shaft is 24 millimeters. Let me just zoom in a bit. Then, from this diameter, we can calculate the circumference of the shaft, which is 24 millimeters times p, and this is round about 75 millimeters. So it means if we do one revolution, we move it away of 75 millimeters for 360 degrees. On the shaft itself, we have the marking with the serial number, which is this one, which helps us to keep orientation while we're rotating the shaft. The width of this mark is 5 millimeters. So what we do now is we divide the 75 millimeters for one complete revolution by 5 millimeters only for this small piece, which is one step for us right now. So we do 75 millimeters divided by 5 millimeters, and this gives us a step size, or it gives us an amount of 15 steps for one complete revolution. But we notice when we handle it that if you look here at our reference point, if we go one complete step in the beginning and we fall in the trap, we can actually only do a half step, and this will enable us to pass by the trap. So we move only to the middle, and then we are able to continue. If we move a half step further, we are trapped. So therefore we take this value by 2, and we have now a resolution of 30 steps for one complete revolution of the shaft. And we consider now one of these single squares as one half step. So it means in the beginning, if we start and we move out 8 millimeters, we are at this point. Now we rotate the puzzle by about one step over here, means 2 squares. And now we can go up again. I have to measure again where we exactly are. We are at 16 millimeters. So I move up another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then if I move one step over here, it's fine. If I move 2 steps, I fall in the trap. So I only mark here 1 step. And here the traps I mark in a different color, for example. I can mark here in red. There is a trap here. And here in the dotted line, I mark the wrong path to the trap. And actually the right path need to go up here. This is the idea how I marked the complete puzzle. I did it this way because this puzzle can be very confusing. And if you see the final map, it looks much more easy actually than it is. It takes you some hours to find this map. But if you got it one time, it's, from my point of view, it's the right approach to do some analytic or try to find some analytic solution and just not try to keep it in your mind. And you need something to write it down. Otherwise, you will get crazy if you get a really, really difficult maze. So, in the end, the result of all this mapping is this map here. This is the complete map of the maze that's inside here. We're starting here at this point, and actually these are the first 8 millimeters. 1 step to the right, up here, half step to the right, and so on. The red lines marking the traps that are inside of the maze. And you can see there was also some confusion from my side where to go. And you can see also in dotted lines all the wrong paths that lead to a trap. So, and also the puzzle is very sensitive. So even if you know the correct path, if you move a little bit too far, as you can see here in the beginning, a little bit too far, you already fall into the trap. So it's really, really difficult. So it's a mix between maze and also dexterity game, to be honest. So if you look now on my map, we can follow this path and the puzzle will be solved. And this is what I'm gonna do now. Starting here, I go out the first 8 millimeters. I go to the right, I go up, past this first trap by only moving a little bit, passing it and go back in. So I'm now here. And there's the next trap. I go up carefully and move around this edge, going down here. I move it all the way around here until the next trap. Up there. And now I will be very careful again to go around here. Down again. Watch out down here because there's another trap in this area. And you can see I'm only very, very slightly before resetting the puzzle and go in again. So I'm now here. Go up. Over here. Careful again. Passing the trap down here, which is this one. Going up again. I'm too far now, I'm here, so I need to go back and over here. Following the path. So now I'm over here. So I went all the way over here, and now the most difficult, for me it was the most difficult part to complete this puzzle, is the one that comes now, which is this one here, because you move up here and you need to move completely straight up because there's a trap on the left and on the right side, and before the trap there is a free space here, and this is very confusing because here you are free to move wherever you want to go, but you need to hit here exactly the right path to pass this trap. And there's another trap over here, so you need to move here. You need to do here exactly the right movement to get through and this costs you a lot of time, and it's very confusing. You can see here my notes, how many times I corrected them. So I just move up very carefully, and at one point I fell into the trap. Shit. I need to restart. Let me just get to the point again. But you have actually seen how sensitive it is. So back again at the same point. I'm now here and try to move over the same area as before. Very carefully, as I said. So I'm pushing very carefully with my finger on the top. And this time it seems it worked out. I'm now here. Also now being careful that I will not fall into this trap. Move it over here. And there comes the next trap, which is this one. So I very carefully move it up. And now I'm here. And to be honest, this area here was very fun for me to solve and took me a lot of time. After you pass this area and up here, it takes you maybe 10 minutes and you finish the puzzle, because this is a little bit disappointing, this area. It's repeating 3 times the same pattern, and then you are basically at, then there's one more trap here, and then you are basically at the end. So I will just follow the path now, going down, carefully down, up again. So I'm here, going down, up again, I'm here, and one more time, and I'm here. Now I'm here in the one way, going back, and now the last trap. I only need to pass the last trap. Carefully, and I'm at the final point, which is this one here. Now I need to somehow open it, and this is actually a little bit like a pain in the ass, because it's somehow stuck sometimes. There's a little pin that needs to go down, and it doesn't work. So I will just do it in fast forward and see if I will be able to solve it. Okay, here we go. So, and to the makers of this puzzle, really this assembly process in the end is really a pain in the ass. You need to somehow improve this. Okay. We got the steel core here. And here you can see what's the problem with these, with getting the puzzle out. These pins get somehow stuck here inside, and they are connected here in the inside of this aluminium sleeve with these 2 holes back here. And if they do not drop out of these holes inside of the puzzle, inside of these holes over here, this one usually fits, but the other one on my sample here gets stuck all the time, and it's very difficult to get it out. Maybe there's a better trick and I just don't get it. If you know a trick, let me know if I do something wrong. Nevertheless, there is some, which is pretty nice, some kind of certificate inside, which is signed by the creator or the owner of the company. And it's kind of a certificate, but actually, to be honest, for me it doesn't matter if there's one inside or not. It doesn't really increase the value. And here you can now see how it's made and how it aligns here with my painted maze, with the maze I noted down here. So actually the start of the puzzle should be, I think, over here. So we get in here with our pin to the right, up, and then passing this trap here. And you can see here, this is the size of the pin. And you can see here on the puzzle how small this area is where the pin is running before dropping down in the trap. And this is maximum a millimeter. And actually I was quite surprised how well this map fitted to what you see here. It's a 1-to-1 map of this complete maze. And our analytic approach worked well, actually. So A great puzzle. From quality point of view, a clear 5 out of 5, except the disassembly in the end. And I'm now interested to see if I can also solve a more difficult one. I also bought the bronze one. And this one is stated to have a solving time of 40 to 60 hours. This one was 5 hours. And also some kind of a dynamic puzzle, which somehow changes its solution when you use it. Actually, at least I expected. I didn't solve it so far. It's much more difficult than this one. But yeah, let's see if I will do it. If you like this episode, give me a like, subscribe to my YouTube channel, subscribe to my Facebook page, and as always, until the next video, keep on puzzling.